And Chris Ockley on the phone with Kelsey Card. Is it Plainview, Illinois native? Or actually
yeah,
Carlinville?
well, I mean Carlinville technically, but
Gotcha.
if we want to get real specific, like Plainview or Shipman, but Carlinville is my home.
Right. And 8-time Illinois state champ in the shot and disc, and the Wisconsin 11-time, I think, All-American and NCAA champion and 2000 Olympian and 4 or 5 USA team member, just 5 days after her second place finish at USA Championships to qualify for her second global championships in the discus. Tell me, just talk a little bit about how USA's played out and your thoughts and feeling on the meet and the results.
Yeah, I mean, it was USA's, like, this summer was kind of weird because USA's were so late due to Worlds being so late, so that was kind of a challenge to really think about how we best wanted to prepare for that, but I felt like Coach and I were on the right track, and I really felt like stuff was coming together when it needed to, and so our plan for USA's was kind of go out there, first throw, try to get a good deep one out there, and then just continue to go after it. And so we pretty much did that. I had a decent first throw, and then the in-between throws were a little questionable, and then I was able to end my final throw on a season's best, so that was nice. And then, I mean, talking with Coach, it's just we had good parts from each throw, and so it's just really trying to get all the parts together in one throw, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about what we're doing with training and just some of the technical changes that we're making and things like that. So I think it's going well. And, you know, I mean, there's ups and downs, and so I think that the longer that I've been in this, like, the more you just kind of understand your body and the different cycles and things like that and trying to time stuff up right. And I mean, it's tough when you first turn pro/post-collegiate, so I'm hoping that I'm finally kind of settling into that professional life, but, you know, got to keep at it.
Well, it was a pretty good series. You had 3 throws over, 3 throws over 62 meters, and 3 throws over 200 feet. Your first throw of 62.37, 204.7 would have got you second, but you improved and almost just missed your own PR on your last throw, 207.8, 207.9, and to take second. And obviously it was talk about the competition because you had 5 women entering the meet that had the world championship standard, and obviously Gia Lewis Smallwood, the American record holder, and Whitney Ashley, who's been on a bunch of USA teams. Just how does that play out? I know you get to know each other really well and become good friends with these women, but you know, when a lot's on the line, you want to beat them. Let's talk about the competition and how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good competition. So, and you're right, we do get to know each other, and I like to think us throwers are the most fun and the best, you know. But we have a pretty good camaraderie, but then it's also, like, that's the cool part about track, because you can be competitive and do your best, but then yet still be happy for other people when they do their best. I mean, you always want to win and beat people, but it's just, I mean, that's the great thing about track and field, because it's so individualized, but yet still kind of like that team group aspect. So it's got the best of both worlds, in my opinion. But yeah, with the competition, I mean, it's like you said, 5 girls were going in with the standard for worlds, and so that's why we were trying to go out with a big one to kind of set it and get running. And yeah, and I mean, when finals started, Dave and I were just like, still got to go. Everyone's still in it. You never know what can happen. You know? So it's just, it's never final until it's final, because all it takes is one in this game. So you always got to be on it and going after each one.
Right. And going back to 2016, your 5th year, your redshirt senior year at Wisconsin, when you just have a monster year and win NCAAs in the disc and stand out, you know, hammer thrower and shot putter, making the Olympic team. What was the biggest 1 or 2 takeaways that you took away from Rio and that Olympic experience and being 25th and the top American finisher? What did you take away from that just experience in that summer?
I mean, for me, it was, I mean, obviously incredible. Like, I'm a people person, obviously, as a therapist. And so, like, getting to meet all those other amazing, not only Team USA athletes, but then all the other international athletes as well, and getting to meet some of my throwing idols, like, I got to see, she was in a different flight, but I got to see Sandra Perkovic, and then I actually got to meet Valerie Adams. Oh my God, I was so excited. But, so just getting to kind of like be in the same competition as people that I've been watching for years, and to be like, oh, hey, like, I'm here with you, you know?
Right.
And just kind of realizing like what that means, and then also like renewing like a fire for where I want to go and what I want to work towards, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
And you've in the 3 years since, you've had some ups and downs as
Yes.
post-collegiate professional life, and you've finished your master's, and you said just this week you've opened a counseling business in Madison, Elephant in the Room. What's I mean, obviously there's challenge, and there's not a lot of money in track and field, and what's it like trying to balance being a competitive, international thrower, as well as married life and finishing school and business and money to pay the bills, and what's that like?
So I mean, the first year out was really tough because I took a year off of school because I was like, do I want to do grad school? Like, what do I want to do with that? And so that first year was just rough, and I think I really missed having that kind of balance and distraction of something else alongside of track, because I'd never really had it where I'd done just track. And like for some people, like that's what they need, is to focus just on the one thing. But I feel like for me, like I gotta have multiple things going to keep it all together, I guess.
Sure.
And so then making the decision to start grad school, I think was really important for me because it added more structure and just like meaningfulness to my spare time, I guess, or you know what I'm saying? And so and then it was also meant that I could work towards my other goal and dream in life, and I didn't have to put either one on hold.
Sure.
And that's kind of the beauty that like magically happened with my careers, is that like the flexibility of each work amazingly well together. So it's just like I train in the mornings, and then when I was in school, I'd do school at night, and then now I just see clients like in the afternoon to the evening, and it works out really, really well. And from the financial part, I mean, for my first 2 years out, I did get some support from USATF, and then so my sponsor is technically first to the finish, and so they helped me a little bit with stuff and some gear, but really it's honestly just self-funded. To be a female thrower in the United States, those are all kind of unpopular strikes against you, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's just really working to like support yourself with that, and I've been lucky that my husband is very good with money, and my family, and so we've been really lucky and had help with family or from family and stuff to support doing this while I'm in school. And he's getting his master's as well, and then he just got a job he's been working in the athletic department for about 8 months or so.
Okay.
So we've lucked out with that. And like, I mean, just like for example, so it's so for World Championships, I'm trying to figure out a way to get Dave, my coach there, Dave Ostrowskis, because USATF unfortunately doesn't fund personal coaches, so that's my next financial endeavor to try to sort out. But it's just it's so hard for people to wrap their head around, because when you say, oh, professional athlete, like you're thinking like big bucks, and I'm like, nope, that's not how track works. Well, at least that's not how thrower or female thrower track works.
Maybe if you're a miler or 100-meter dash person, but
yeah. But you know what? I mean, I love it, and I really like the balance of the therapy and the throwing in my life.
And obviously, first to the finish is one of the top track and field and apparel equipment and apparel distributors based out of Carlinville, and they've got a shop, 2 different locations, one in Edwardsville, Illinois, and one in St. Charles, Missouri, just right next to the Bass Pro on I-70.
Yeah, and I mean, I've known that family since childhood, and so they're amazing, and I'm really happy to represent something so meaningful and that's true and real.
Sure. And they've got one of the best, sharpest, gorgeous looking catalogs. I can't wait to get my catalog every year. And
I get to be I think I'm going to be on the track one this fall.
Oh, nice.
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure they're going to do that, so keep an eye out.
Sure. And then how do you, as you've got all this professional training in therapy and psychology and understanding how people think and how the positives and negative thoughts and all that, how does that help you? How's the psychology been a benefit to your athletic career?
I would say that goes further back than just me going to grad school. So my mom is a middle school counselor. So I've had that going for me. And then I actually started working with a sports psychologist at Wisconsin about 6 years ago. And I really think that working with her changed my career and trajectory. I honestly credit her a lot with a lot of the work that I've done. And so it's been really cool to have that mental health, like mental strength aspect be such a big part of my life and career for so long. I'm a huge advocate of sports psych stuff for athletes, and obviously just mental health and wellness in general. So it's exciting to be able to continue that path in a slightly different direction, but still to have that experience. And I still work with my sports psychologist, and it's amazing. I think it's hugely beneficial in all sports and life in general, and then like especially those individual events like track where it's just you, like
sure.
That's a lot of pressure, nothing to hide behind.
Right. And what's the coach athlete relationship with you and David Ostrakis, the former Eastern Illinois standout thrower turned longtime Southern Illinois University Edwardsville assistant and head coach who's been up at Wisconsin for 10 years now. Just tearing.
Well, he and I were just laughing the other day because we're going on 8 years working together. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's like any relationship. We have our ups and downs, but I have faith and confidence in him to help me get where I need to go. And I think that he has that same in me to do what I need to do. And it's just, like I said, we've been through a lot together. And obviously I must still like him. I'm still there 3 years post-collegiate. I'm like the grandma of the team. But yeah, and I mean, like, just like his family, like I babysit his kids sometimes. Like it's just really cool. Like it's we get work done at practice, but then it's just having someone that I can trust, and that, like, if I needed something, like, he'd be there for me. Right. So,
and then, talk to me about the decision. It looks like 2 years ago this is the second year in a row that you've stayed away from the shot put. Talk about your obviously elite shot putter and discus thrower. You're over 60 feet in the shot. Tell me about the decision to just concentrate on the discus 2 years ago and be your main focus.
Yeah, so we did shot the first year post-collegiate, but then, Dave and I just really sat down and looked at everything and decided that I could never be physically functionally large enough to throw the shot well. And honestly, women's shot is going kind of nuts in the U.S. right now, too. Crazy. And so after examining everything, we decided that my best path was to continue on with just the disc. Right. And it's, and I mean, some days I miss the shot, I guess. But, I mean, I'm good and happy with the decision that we made. Right. Just because, I mean, I know several people do it, like Maggie Ewan and some others, but it's hard to do more than one throws, like, competitively post-collegially. Right. Like, that's a lot, so like I said, some days miss it, but I'm at peace and happy with our decision, and I think we made it at the right time, and, yeah.
And then, besides the financial aspect of post-collegiate track and field, and I would assume, and you're kind of still with the team, with training at Wisconsin with the Badgers. But what are the biggest other things that you face? Obviously, not going to weekly meets with a team and having the camaraderie on trips and competing week in and week out with a team that you're cheering for. But is that one of the biggest changes once you graduate? The group aspect definitely, like, was missing with traveling, and then for me too, like, not getting to have Dave with me all the time, like, I didn't realize, like, kind of how much of a luxury that was until, like, I couldn't have it. Right. So I really, really had to learn. I had to really become a student of the sport, because in college, I mean, I wasn't super into the technical, like, I just kind of, like, I mean, I would ask questions and, like, want to know why and how and stuff like that, but I wasn't super into that part of it, and so I really had to become aware of my training and what we were doing, so I could do that on my own and execute without Dave there. Right. So that was a huge learning curve for me personally. And then, and I think just learning to travel on your own, and, like, you're by yourself, and so it's just kind of figuring out ways to, like, stay on top of that, I guess. Sure. But yeah, so I guess those were kind of some of the biggest challenges for me. But I'm very grateful, though, that I can still train at UW and have access to all the medical staff and things like that, because for me, the sports medicine side of it is a huge part of my career and training and stuff. So I'm really grateful. And obviously to get to train with my teammates, too, is a lot of fun. Right. Although they're all graduating on me now, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're leaving me. Right. But it's good. I'm happy. Well, you're in an airport getting ready to head to Peru for the PanAm Senior Games, and you've made plenty of USA junior team and several USA senior teams. Tell me about thoughts and goals as you get ready for PanAms and then World Championships in 6-7 weeks.
I mean, honestly, like, I just want to keep building and keep improving and getting more experience at that higher international level, you know, because after the Olympics, like, I think that PanAms and Worlds are almost kind of tied for, like, most important track meets after the games. So it's just really getting that experience and, you know, and again, so I'm on my own without Dave this weekend, so it's just even more working to be self-sufficient and functioning and stuff like that. So just looking to improve and do the best I can.
When you're on one of these USA teams and you don't have your own personal coach, but you're working with the USATF staff throws coach, do you try to connect with them, leading up to your competition and talk about kind of your technique and what you do, or do you kind of just wait until meet day and?
I mean, a little bit of both. Depends, like, if Dave is there or not, so obviously. But, so the throws coach for this competition is Sandy Fowler, and so I know her pretty well. And we communicate well, so I'll probably either have Dave text her or just have Dave let me know, like, what to have her look out for and stuff. And
sure.
She's a good coach, too, so that's the nice thing about the throws community as well, is, you know, I mean, it's so the world gets small real quick, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your competition on, let's see, Sunday
Tuesday.
It's last Sunday at USA's. I know there was a big throws party on Saturday night. I don't know if you got to partake in that at all or had to go to bed early, but a lot of the...
No, I went to bed.
Okay. A lot of retired throwers and current and former coaches and athletes got together in Des Moines. But in the Middle East, what are you looking forward to most about going to the Middle East and competing at the World Championships?
Honestly, it's my first World Championship, so that's super cool. And just getting to be at that level, I guess, and have that experience, and then just also getting to visit a new place. I've never been to the Middle East, and I've heard that Doha is a really cool city.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. And like I said, hopeful that I can get Dave there, so I can have him have that experience with me and be there to help me, because, you know, he's constantly learning and adjusting and taking it all in too to better benefit me. So so hopefully it all works out. But yeah, I'm super excited to visit a new place in a cool city. And
what's the biggest thing you need to focus on is in competition or right now to launch those big 200 plus feet throws out there to be competitive?
I mean, just really staying calm and patient, and it's just remembering. I could get into a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo, but just kind of remembering the focus points that we're working on, but really just staying calm and patient, and then slamming it at the end.
Right. What's obviously looks like you're 16th or so on the world list right now with your throw from Des Moines. Let's see, is it 12 that make the finals at Worlds, I believe?
Something like that. And that's the thing too. Like, yes, I got to think about long term and in the future, but I also got to take it one step at a time.
Sure.
So it's like with this. I mean, it's one meet at a time. You can have the overarching goals and plan in mind, but it's really got to be one step at a time, or it just becomes too much.
So even in and day out now this year, is Tokyo 2012 way back in your mind, and you're just focused on putting the work in day after day, and that's just kind of an afterthought, or is that a weekly thought or a daily thought, or?
I mean, for me, it's just like, what am I working on in practice today? How am I feeling today? What choices can I make to better improve the bigger picture? And whatever the bigger picture ends up being, like, it is. I mean, it will hopefully be ending up in that, but it's just you can't think about it too much, because then you lose sight of what you're doing.
Sure.
In the small picture to make those steps to get to the bigger picture.
Right. Well, you've had quite a career through high school and college, and now you're third year out of college, and
I feel old.
Well, so congrats on the runner-up finish at USA's, and best of wishes at this week in Peru, and enjoy taking it in and cheering on your fellow U.S. teammates, and we'll look forward to see how things go for you in Doha.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.